All right, welcome to our feature matches, week one here. Murders at Karlov Manor League. Raphael's joining me for this league here. And we got our feature match goat here, Caleb, who we'll talk about, facing off against Kevin I. So let us know what's going on in his hand there.
Looks like some three-color stuff going on this side. He's got the plains and the mountain you see with a forest in hand. Fanatical Strength, the Tropiary Panther, the Strider, the Market Phantom, and then he has the Vigilante. What's the goat working with on his
So it
side?
sounds like nothing easily to kill this Etrata that's just showed up here. Yeah,
No, it's a problem.
Yeah, Caleb's got a couple of disguised creatures. I almost said morph. Night Drinker Moroi, which is the 4/2 flying, and then Sanguine Savior, which is the white-black hybrid. He has a Dramatic Accusation as well, and an island and a swamp. So potentially at two colors, maybe we'll see. Yeah, Caleb is he started off 3-1 here, so a good start to the league. Kevin, a bit of a slower start, 0-4. So is Kevin planning some sort of ambush here on the Etrata or something?
Yeah, I was thinking about it because Trial's a very hard card to deal with. So remember, he has the Fanatical Strength in hand. If Caleb doesn't do this, which I thought he might do, he's done it. The only other answer for Kevin was to block and Fanatical Strength to get rid of it because the Trial just kind of runs away with the game, right?
Yeah, so
So
So not a super high value target here for the dramatic accusation, but to get a try even in once, you've gotten your use of it. Um,
yeah, I mean that definitely didn't go by Caleb, not at all. Caleb said, "Hey, listen, I think you're trying to block and buff. Let me just take that option
so he's
away."
cloaked an escape tunnel. So if he wants to ramp, he could pay 4 mana and get the escape tunnel into play. But we got an island coming here, so we got all sorts of colors coming from Kevin.
Yeah, this does Caleb have any other ways to?
He just has
Well, I
he
guess it
just
doesn't
has
really
creatures
matter.
in his hand right now.
Yeah, so I think Kevin's gonna keep holding up this Fanatical
Yeah,
Strength.
I think Caleb, Caleb,
Look to
Caleb
get rid
has
of
to be
it.
reading him for some sort of interactive spell, potentially a pump spell,
Yeah,
which is why he used the dramatic accusation last turn when he could have just played creatures. So Caleb's thinking to himself, Kevin didn't play a creature. That means he's going to be interacting with my 1/4 in combat. Looks like he's just going to let Kevin 2-for-1 himself. Really 3-for-1 because he got
yeah.
the 2/2 off of it. Oh, I mean,
I mean,
Caleb
he
did
did
have to
draw a
spend a
Killer
card.
Among Us a time ago.
Ooh, that's a fun one.
So if he's able like to kind of get the pressure off, he might actually be able to resolve it and get some stuff going on with the has the vigilante behind it.
Yeah, so we were mentioning at the outset that Caleb has quite a good performance with his feature matches here. 17-2 somehow. Um, the next highest player has 10 wins. So he's just if he wins today, he'll be at a 90% win rate for these matches, which is just unbelievable. So yeah, he's one of the
He's done some
greats.
field that makes sense. He definitely has a good conversion for top eights and top 16s, right?
Oh yeah,
So I guess it only makes sense.
yeah. I mean
So what
he
are
he
we
was also
choosing
uh,
here?
he was also our starting con here. Did he choose Merfolk?
Who do you think? You think the killer's Is that what you think, Merfolk?
I mean, it's always the man in the middle for me.
Well, he's chosen the Goblin this time.
Mm, Goblin,
I feel like I always choose human. The human just looks so unsuspecting for most people.
very innocent looking. Yes. Yeah. So the correct thing to do when your opponent plays 3/1/1s is to attack because the tokens don't do anything defensively. Yeah, Kevin Munga's a very good
Okay.
card here, but it's not amazing when you're on the back foot, which Kevin definitely is now because there's another flyer in play with the Sanguine Savior.
Yeah, I mean the good news is he does have the vigilante to back it up. Granted, he doesn't have any way to deal with this flyer though. That's going to be a problem that will not be for another day.
Yeah, and there's another flyer getting flipped up with the Sanguine Savior. So this is a fun little
Interesting.
bluff, right?
Yeah, right. I was thinking the same thing.
Wow, okay, I like it. Like Killer Among Us, when I first saw the card, I was like, it's so clunky. It's 3/1/1s. You have to attack. And then when I first saw it being played, I was like, oh, this card's kind of fun. And now I just it's just good, like just good. Period. Like not I mean, when you're behind, it's not as good, but it still gives you some board presence. But these flyers here are looking like they might carry Caleb to a victory here.
Yeah, I mean, he did get not on my watch. That'll
Okay,
deal with the
yeah, that'll
force,
do it.
but I mean, it's still not looking good for closing out the game, right?
So now he attacks with the goblin. Caleb must be wondering what's going on here. This is the mind games we live for, right? I mean, okay.
Yeah, I would guess you just reveal the killer now, right?
Yeah, I would if I'm Caleb. There's a good chance I might just block, honestly, with the land, the face down land. So does Atrada does the card gain the ability to be cast
I thought it
with
was only
Atrada, or is it only
creatures,
if
but I
Atrada's
don't.
in play?
You know, that's actually a good point. I don't think I've ever. Well, I haven't played with her,
No,
so I
me
have
neither.
no idea.
I think she has to be in play, but
Does she cloak the card?
yes. But the act of cloaking makes it so that you can turn it up later, even when she's gone. Anyway, I don't think it's too important here because we're seeing these flyers attack. One of them is going to get killed. Yeah, so luckily for Caleb, he has a Fairy Snoop in his hand, so he still has Kevin being dead next turn to lethal here.
Yeah, all Kevin's got in hand right now is the force, so you need some top deck magic right here.
Yeah, so he's still got lethal with the Fairy Snoop,
Well, it's magic. It is a 6/7 reacher.
but he can't cast it.
He hasn't played land for a turn though. You can just play land and
Oh,
cast it, right?
he has
Seven
a
drop.
land in his hand. Oh, okay,
Yeah. I was like, wait, I thought he had force, right? I had to look at his hand again. I was like,
okay.
wait a minute, hold on.
I mean, you do know what Forest does. I know in Cons of Tarkir you weren't 100% clear on the cards, but you do know what Forest does. Yes.
I would hope so. I would hope so, even though I don't enjoy playing them.
No. Okay. Got it. But I mean,
I mean,
you'll play green cards in League if you have to, right?
if forced to, yes, if forced to.
Yeah. There was
So I would think Caleb just takes this.
Yeah, he must. Yeah, there was a player back in our paper leagues. He only played like two leagues, I think, but I very distinctly remember he just hated red as a magic color. He said, "I will never play red in my league deck." And furthermore,
Uh,
when I opened him a prize pack, which is what we used to do in person, he just took the red cards and just left them on the table. He did not even add them to his pool.
it's insane to me. I can't think of too many people that don't red
He's
cards.
like, I will just never put red cards in my league deck. I was like, okay, fine. Because back then we would write it out on a piece of paper, the cards that they open, and then they would, get that into their pool. But he just left the red cards. He's like, no. Anyway, all this to say, Caleb is looking here with his fairy snoops. He's a clandestine meddler and a Lazab. The clandestine meddler will give uh, menace to his two power flyer here.
And the other card was,
It
oh,
was the
okay.
Lazav, but right now his last card is a slice from the shadows, but I think he's just going to go for the menace here. So it's not lethal, but it's at least getting around this gigantic 6/7.
I mean, it's slowly doing the job. Let's get to see what's on top of the
Yeah,
deck, right?
island goes away. Yeah, this Helion is reminiscent. Reminds me of the Loxodon from Cons, just because that has the same stats. But this one has reach. So
Yeah, the draw for turn's not going to get it done. It's just a
all right.
auspicious arrival. So we're going to see Mathis for blockers at work.
I imagine Caleb's just going to block with as many creatures as he can here. I don't think there's nothing that gives like group trample that instant speed. It's a sorcery.
Yeah, bustle, hustle,
Yeah,
bustle.
exactly. All right, so I imagine he's just gonna block. Yeah, he says yeah. So the face down card I did not mention was the lumbering laundry, the 4/5 that you can pay mana to look at your opponent's face down cards.
That card's like just league playable, right? Not draft playable.
It's a grown up toke smeller, that's for sure.
Okay. I guess Toke Smeller was good for his format though, because you didn't have to pay the Yeah, do you have to pay the war to look at the face down creature?
No. Okay, so it's worded. It says you may look at face down creatures your opponents control this turn.
Okay, all
So you
right.
just see all of them for 2 mana.
I never played with the card. I was like, wait a minute, that's an interesting point.
Yeah, so it's worded in such a way that you just get to see all of them for 2 mana. And yeah, I was playing a league match on Saturday, and my opponent used it to look at my vengeful creeper, which then immediately killed it the next turn. He got the info dump, the unfortunate info dump.
So we're gonna see Caleb close game one
Look at
out.
this!
Quick
Look at
question:
this
Did you
brazen
put
attack! Look at this brazen attack! He's just only with the one.
did you put any bets in for the winner of this?
No, I'm not a betting man myself, so I was going to stay away from
Okay,
that. Plus, I mean, I'm kind of implicated in these matches. I said, let's step away from that particular line of action. But I mean, it's hard to bet against Caleb in any of these feature matches,
yeah,
which
I had
is
Caleb too low.
no statement of disrespect towards his opponent. I figure he's just favored against anyone, and he is just running a two-color deck, so not unlike something that I'm running, which is just put all my playables in a pile and make a deck. But he's actually way has way more non non disguised creatures in his deck than you would imagine for a two-color deck this early. Like my deck, I think I have like 7 or 8 of the hybrid morphs in my deck. Sorry, disguised creatures. But yeah, he has a two-color deck. He's doesn't really need to sideboard. Just playing a blue-black deck straight up. And what's Kevin thinking about over there?
It's a mainly white green deck, just splashing some
Okay.
cards like Argus, Kellum. I believe there's an Izoni up there, and there is a Trostani down here also. I mean, he's got some sweet cards: two Lockstons, two Nurture, Gardeners, three Inside
Yeah,
Sources,
we only
two of
really
the.
saw white or green cards that game, right?
Yeah, I mean, this thing looks honestly sweet. We might be in for a exciting game too if he can, I guess, have the right draws.
Yeah,
That last game was a little on the slower side from what it looks like his hand can do.
yeah. Well, he's
But I mean, like
yeah,
a Trotta, right?
yeah. On turn 3, it's just gonna put you behind. Yeah, I mean, he has the maximum amount of cards in his pool that you could have for being on your fifth match of week 1. So obviously, not the state he necessarily wants to be in, but this is where you start your comeback, hopefully. But like I said, up against a tough one here.
Yeah, I mean, I'm willing to bet against Caleb this second game after seeing what's in Kevin's deck.
Okay.
It looks like it can definitely like take a game or two pretty easily. But his lands really aren't working with him. So he had a maul the first hand. The second hand has a Plains Mountain, but no green, and there's four cards that require some green.
Yeah, I mean Taylor's old this time with League. Like I was playing against a three-color deck earlier today, and we had two good games. And the last game just got choked on one of his colors. Was missing a color, and then when he got it, had multiple cards of that color in hand. And I was just casting stuff. Like it didn't have to be especially good stuff, and I can assure you it wasn't.
Yeah, like the second hand that he's gonna keep was a Plains Mountain Strength Trostani, a Killer Among Us, and then he put the Izoni back since it's not gonna be cast in the foreseeable future.
All right, slightly risky keep here for Caleb with the two-lander. He has drawn a third land, but they're all swamps. So the only castable cards in his hand is the Clandestine Meddler and the Sanguine Savior as a disguise. His blue cards are Deduce, Etrata, and Sudden Setback, which is double blue. So again, a bit of a risky keep here because, the best thing he could do on turn 3 if he doesn't draw his island is play a 3/2 or a 2/2. But I think he's going to sack his clue here and hopefully find an Etrata. But Trostani is just, if you can cast that on turn 3, you're just going to be way ahead. So he could play the Etrata here with
Yeah.
his Death Touch, but this could be an interesting battle between these two bomb creatures here.
So I mean, he's got three lands in hand, two now after playing the Plains. Still the Fanatical Strength and the Killer Among Us. I'm curious if he just swings in with the Trostani. I doubt Caleb blocks it because he can get first strike. And then I guess he can hold it on defense
Well,
because it does
it
give
can
death.
gain Double Strike.
Yeah.
So it can gain Death Touch or Double Strike, which are very relevant mid combat. It can gain Vigilance too, which is kind of like it's a sorcery speed activation, really.
So I guess Kevin was thinking there if he gives it double strike and then next turn,
I mean, it's A.
he could fanatical strength it and then do double strike again.
I mean, yeah, Caleb's probably. So look, we know Caleb is very very intelligent player. I think he would deduce that if, well, which is funny because he has that card in his hand, but I think he would deduce that if he decided to take his entire turn to just put the double strike on it, it probably means he's going to do it again and can push damage with a pump spell because there's two mana pump spells. Though there's one in green, one in white at common. So yeah, I think he could figure out what to do.
Yeah, I mean Kevin can definitely go for it this turn.
Yeah.
Oh, swing both. Interesting.
Okay. So the 2/2, which is a swamp here, is going to block.
You gotta
And
block it. You gotta block it, Caleb. Caleb, you gotta block it, brother. Brother.
Caleb's thinking to himself. I mean, he did see the +3 last game.
Oh, oh, we're gonna see it. Fanatical strength
I mean,
and the
I
double
I
strike.
mean, I'm surprised because he did see that +3 last game.
Yeah.
So
Well, wow.
yeah, that's
I'm
that's that's how
surprised it
you
worked
steal
out.
a win. You just. I mean, no, like no blocking Trostani is it's a risk. We could say that.
Yeah, I assume we see a start like that again. Caleb is not gonna mess around with the Tristani.
He'll probably just block. I mean, he didn't. I mean, the options weren't great, but you know,
Well, so was the card he stole from Kevin? Was it a good
it was a
card?
swamp.
Okay, I thought he might have just blocked with that. To be honest.
Yeah, could be. I mean, he blocked the novice inspector with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that was a quick one. I mean, definitely. I mean, I guess clearly it wasn't on Caleb's radar, but it will be now.
Yeah.
I mean, even if he blocks, he takes a boatload of damage still. But if he blocks, Kevin could just play other stuff also, because whatever he's blocking with, it's just a chump block. So like chump
It's
blocking
like a
just
free
sets a
jump
bad
block, though,
precedent
right?
that you're going to lose to it anyway. So
Well,
it's kind of damned
normally
if you do,
jump
damned
blocking
if
is
you don't,
bad.
honestly, because the blocks are terrible regardless.
Well, it's a free card though, right? It's not the same as playing the card and losing the card.
Yeah, for sure. So do we have a good hand here for Kevin? Because Caleb's got a
It-
reasonable one.
it's a reasonable hand, a little slow.
Okay.
It's two planes, island, forest, granite witness, fanatical strength, the panther, which will probably fix if he doesn't draw a swamp, and then Izoni on the top
Okay.
end.
Okay. So nice two drop
Caleb's
here.
coming out high.
Yeah, nice two drop here, Homicide Investigator, which well, just so many solid on color rares here. He's got a coveted Falcon in hand too. Like just a really coherent starting pool. I mean, he does have one loss, but yeah, just really nice start here. Play the Falcon face down. Left in hand, he has Deduce, the Lumbering Laundry, and Slice from the Shadows. Yeah, Homicide Investigator, very strange. I just looked at this card and I'm like, did they just make a worse Morbid Opportunist, but increased the rarity?
I guess when you look at it like that, it makes sense.
I mean, still a
Card
really good card.
for this format.
That
Yeah, for this format, I like it.
that is less of an insult to the investigator as it is a compliment to the opportunist, which was just an absurd magic card.
Now, this face down is the Great Witness or the Granite Witness. I
Well,
assume he's just going to trade it off.
it's getting sliced, I think. So he could either
I
slice
mean,
it or he could offer trades, but I don't think he wants to. He said, "Let's just slice it." Yeah, he could have played the Lumbering Laundry face down. His face down here is the Falcon, by the way.
I guess it's probably like better just leave us 2-2 for now, just get more damage through. Kevin throwing down the Gardener to go looking for more lands.
Okay.
He only needs two more turns, and we'll see if Izoni can stabilize him a bit.
Yeah, Falcon. Have you played with that card a lot? Because I've had it quite a bit actually. What have you?
Honestly, no.
It's a very strange card.
Like the effect, I've heard some crazy things happening with it. Like, have you done anything nutty with it?
I mean, I mean, my opponent cast two copies of Coerce to kill, and I regained my creatures over 2 turns because of the attack trigger.
I think that's the nuttiness I heard.
The attack trigger says gain control of target permanent you own but don't control. So I get back my creatures that have been mind controlled. But other than that, I mean it's okay. I mean I've had a couple long games where I just gave them like 3 lands when the game was like when both players had like 7 8 lands already and help win the game. But it's very strange, very narrow. In the early game, it's very awkward. That being said, I don't see it as like a super high pick and draft, but it's fun and it's totally fine. It's just weird. So what are Kevin's
Interesting.
options here?
Well, he just drew a killer Among Us
Yeah,
for the
which
turn. So he drew
defensively
Granite Witness last
doesn't
turn.
offer too much.
Yeah, he drew Granite Witness last turn. If he didn't throw the Mountain out, I guess he threw it out because Caleb has knowledge of it. But if he threw out the Island or Plains, he could play it and then also morph it in the same turn to
Mm,
kind of stem some of this bleeding. That way, Izoni just comes out next turn, and hopefully that's the stabilization he needs.
yeah, I could see that stabilizing, but will he make it there? That's the thing. So nothing crazy in hand here for Caleb. Deduce and Jaded Analyst, the defender.
And then what did he scry? Wait, was that the swamp from the top of the deck that he scried away?
Yep. Yeah, the swamp. Yeah, he got rid of it.
Okay.
Yeah, he doesn't have anything on top that he knows about. Yeah, Kevin thinking it through here. He's in a rough spot. He has the potential to draw him to claw back in the game potentially. With multiple cards in hand and the Azoni next turn.
I'm not sure if something happened on our end. I don't see the option to go to the next phase.
Or it could be he
I'm not sure.
froze. All right. Well, we'll wait it
We'll
out. You
see.
can message him if you want. Maybe he has to.
Well, it looks like he's mousing over cards, so I'm not sure.
Okay.
Okay, hold on. The stream went down for a bit.
Okay. So just send him a message. Make sure everything's cool. If he needs to play without streaming, then that's okay. If the stream is slowing his client down, then we can live without it. Anyway.
I'm messaging him now.
All right. Very very good then. So I guess in the meantime, you can. How have you found this format so far?
I love and hate at the same time. I feel like outside of pod drafting, I'm just always so confused. But there's a lot of sweet things you can do that I've been seeing other people do. I mean, I think we all love Doppelganger,
Oh
Insidious Roots,
yeah.
Walk Outline. How about yourself?
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, it's not Kanzatar here, that's for sure. Kanzatar here it was a very much a morph format, defined by morph. I don't think this format is defined by disguise. It's obviously a part of it, but it's definitely not defined by it. It's defined by, to me so far, like white aggro cards, especially in draft. I mean, League is a bit of a different animal, so I could see the disguise cards doing more. But like, yeah, I've loved cards like Insidious Root, Chalk Outline, but they're not really going to be usable in League in the early weeks to their highest extent. But you need to sculpt a game strategy to not die to aggro decks in any deck that's planning to build these late game engines. So the
Give me
fun police are
one.
just sort of naturally built in, as just all the white decks are very similar. I find just because the white aggro cards just drive the strategy and they work well with all the colors. So I've been enjoying the draft still. Do we know what's going on with Kevin here?
Yeah, I'm just making sure. I believe I'm on Kevin's stream. You know how normally when you get kicked out of the game, you just relog, it tosses you back in the game,
Right,
right?
right.
But Kevin's back on the main page.
Oh,
Yeah, it seems that it just bugged out completely. So I'm not sure how you'd want to deal with that.
uh, hasn't
Yeah,
happened too
that's first I've
often.
ever seen that
I
happen.
mean, they may have to restart the game three, but
Yeah,
that's not
it was getting spicy. It was getting
that's
spicy.
not my call necessarily. No, it's definitely not my call.
Yeah.
I don't know how they handle this normally. We can maybe tag a league committee here to figure out what to do, and definitely
Luckily for us, it seems we have three among us.
there you go. Yeah, so definitely somebody should also be making Caleb aware of the situation. I'm sure he's probably got in touch with Kevin by now.
Yeah, so I don't know. It just kicked me out completely. Like it just froze and then the game shut down.
Okay. Um, hmm. I mean, I can't speak to exactly what the protocol would be, but let's see.
Kevin, have you reset the client?
Yeah, the client I reset, but now I'm just sitting in the main page. Like it didn't
Huh.
bring me back into the game. Normally it brings me back into the game.
So the game is still in progress on Caleb's end, right?
Would a possible fix be to just have them restart game three, even though it's not ideal?
Risky Hobby and I had this like a week or so ago, and that's what we did was just restart the game
Mm.
that we were on.
Can you try
I've
restarting the
seen it
client
happen at
one?
least to one more person.
Sorry, Adam?
Can you try restarting the client one more time just to see if it finds the game in
Yeah,
progress?
yeah.
I'll
Try.
message the other league committee members.
Yeah, and definitely if somebody hasn't pulled Caleb in with the info.
I,
Hello?
Yeah, hi.
hey, hey.
What's going on?
They're gonna have Kevin try and restart it one more time to see if that fixes it.
Okay.
And then there's some options.
It seems like he restarted, but instead of going back into the game, it just brought him to the main screen. So this particular game that you're playing does not appear like it's going to continue.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, I'm still on the main screen here. I don't know what
I think
happened.
the fix would be to, I mean, it's not a fix, but I think the option would be to just restart game three with Caleb on the play.
I don't know what's in
Yeah.
Kevin's hand, but from my seat, I feel like I'm closer to winning than to 50-50.
I mean, I can't even see my hand anymore.
Right. I'll stop the video for now while we get this sorted out. Hopefully we'll be back with a solution very shortly.